Hey guys, so here's the update I promised you. Basically over the last little while I've been working on creating a finalized character controller, and I'm sure over time I'll end up tweaking it a bit more, but it's essentially complete. It works. I'm going to jump in now. It's a really simple one. All it contains is basic movement, and I'm sorry for the lag. This is just a really crappy computer and I'm running recording software as well as video game software. But yeah, so it's just basic movement and camera look, and I can interact with certain interactable objects when I set that up to happen. But yeah, the programming side of that is done. Essentially what I'm working on at the moment is just blocking out I guess you could call it the second level, second stage, with really simple placeholder objects. And all of these will eventually be replaced with actual models, but by building it this way I can get all the programming working, and I'm going to build out the absolute bare minimum of the game. So I'm going to get the audio story segments in place and all the programming done. Then I'm going to start putting in all the art assets to replace these. So for example, I'll eventually replace this block with an actual car, and that with a beanbag, all that sort of jazz. Also, eventually I want to have the complex animated scenes, but that is a lot of work that I can't necessarily do. So eventually I'll probably hire somebody to do that. Let's see, but I'll show you some of the prettier art at the moment. Let's go to here. I think this one was pretty finalized, or close to. Still a lot of assets I want to create. Now the reason I'm using the really basic blocking to start with is over time I've been learning a lot more about the 3D modeling and about optimization. So it'll give me the chance to create like multiple tiers of detail. So I'll start off by creating really detailed models, and then I'll break them down into like simpler versions. And basically that just, this will take a while to load, sorry, it'll be really slow. Yeah, you can see it's loaded here, but just this will take ages to catch up. Anyways, lost my train of thought. Yeah, so that way I can have it so that I can set it up to run with kind of a much simpler graphics for lower end computers. On the other hand, if you're running a beast of a machine, you can run everything with like really high quality textures and incredibly detailed models. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to turn it off wireframe for you. I had wireframe on the other model, shaded wireframe, because when it's all the same color, and it can become hard to actually tell where one thing starts and another thing, like where one thing ends and another thing starts. Anyway, so here's sort of like some examples of the higher end graphics. So this is actually for the splash scene in the menu. So once this eventually switches over, still not quite finalized with like the lighting and everything, but yeah, like you can see it's missing the placeholders. Interesting. But yeah, it's just limited, so there's not actually going to be much more outside. It's basically, I'm just going to have just enough things where you can see them. Tree off in the background, but I might use a cutout of a tree because it's not actually going to matter here. Yeah, and the camera, when you press play, will actually track up and around here and ends up looking at the desk, or the bedside table rather, with the lamp and the clock and all of that. Yeah, so you can see this is a lot of the stuff I've been working on. So this is the sort of quality of assets I'll eventually end up putting in. But in the meantime, I'm just blocking in the levels. Anyways, I've rambled a bit, so I'm sorry if that was a bit tedious, but yeah, that's what we're up to these days. Thanks for following, and I'll give you guys more updates when I can.